Good day, everyone. The Mango Thunderslice here, and some very, very important news today. Act 1 of our global revolution was completed today, December 4th, 2016, and the European Union will now begin its process of collapse and dissolution. And so basically what I'm talking about is Italy, okay? Italy just voted on a constitutional referendum today. To summarize, the referendum was basically a measure to increase the centralization of power inside the Italian government. And the Prime Minister, Matteo Renzi, he was basically pushing this as a way to change the Italian government so that it could, solve some problems. There's a lot of problems with the European Union and all of these different countries, trying to just jam a round peg into a square hole. Brexit happened first. Now, Donald Trump has been elected, and now Italy has basically, they voted no on the referendum. They said no, and it's not just the referendum that matters. Just like the Brexit vote, just like the Trump election, just like this is so much more. All three of these were referenda on the centralizing trend of power. Moving toward ever greater levels of government organization in a small control, so few can dominate the many. And what's very interesting is, basically the world is organized by a triple crown. There is an empire. You've heard me reference it many times, and the empire has 3 cities primarily from which it rules. Of course, there's many other cities, but there's 3 prime cities. And the 3 cities of this empire, stretching back centuries, it began with Rome, of course. The empire, all roads lead to Rome. And once the actual Roman Empire fell, basically the aristocracy and, the elite class of the Roman society basically moved into Europe, okay? And they became the royal dynasties of Europe. And a new center of power was established in London, the city of London, the second crown. And, as the European saga played out, leading to the colonization of the New World of North America and South America too, a third city was created in the American crown, the Washington, D.C., which is the third crown. And together, these 3 cities have dominated the planet for a long time. Specifically, it's been a 100-year reign for them, about, give or take. We have the Catholic Church and the Vatican emanating out of Rome, basically influencing the cultural standards of billions of people around the world. That even plays into the whole Islamic world. The Islamic world and the Vatican have a very long and old history, which I'll get into in another video, but suffice to say that this power structure emanating from Rome has been influencing the entire world for not just centuries, but millennia, and it begins with people's idea of religion and cultural standards, and basically the everybody's familiar with the horrendous track record of the Catholic Church and the crimes against humanity that they've committed. And London basically is the economic center, okay? The entire banking system of the world is based in London, at least it has been. And now that's all changing, and Washington, D.C. is the military arm. So together we have the spiritual/cultural crown in Rome, we have the economic crown in London, and we have the military crown in Washington, D.C. And in 2016, what we witnessed is the fall of the empire, and it's just the beginning. Like I said, Act 1 has concluded. Act 2 is about to begin. Okay, we had Brexit, we had the people overthrowing the banking cartel by voting for the Brexit outcome. and now basically Britain will be leaving the European Union. We had the election of Donald Trump, which was a wholesale rejection of the elite here in the United States, and primarily the reason that he won, despite all the shenanigans and nonsense that, you know, leftists and blue teamers are putting out there, that, oh, everybody's just racist. All these states that voted for Obama by huge margins now just, oh, I guess they're racist now. No, this was a referendum on the power centralization, okay? These people who think that they can just control the whole world and tell everybody how to live their lives, they got checked this year, and it's a beautiful thing. This has been really, really entertaining for me to witness, you know, and so what we have is basically the three crowns have now fallen. London, Rome, and Washington, D.C., now basically are entering a new power structure, and this will usher in a huge wave of changes. Act 2 is going to be a lot more intense than Act 1 was. Act 1 was a preamble, okay? Nothing really feels that different right now yet, but watch, in 2017 the empire will start to collapse. The European Union will collapse. Monte dei Paschi is a bank in Italy, one of the oldest banks, like 500 years old. It's been struggling. It's been on life support for years now, and now it's going to collapse, and that's going to lead to a banking crisis in Europe, another banking crisis in Europe for those who have been paying attention, and it is very likely that the European Union will break up as a result of what has happened, not just with Brexit, but with the vote today. And, you know, this is a really long struggle. You know, it's people, you know, we have a very short-term memory these days. People, you know, it's the here and now, live in the moment, and there's nothing necessarily wrong with living in the moment, but we have to remember where we come from. We have to know our history in order to know where we're going, and, you know, have some sort of coherent narrative to explain where we're going, why things are happening, because otherwise we start going crazy, okay? We start losing our minds because we're unable to process the information that's coming in. So the purpose of this video is to help you a little bit with the narrative of the planet that is unfolding. You know, our ancient state, our original state on this planet was a garden. It was peaceful, it was paradise, and we all had the bounty of the planet, and, you know, we were all basically, if it wasn't egalitarian, it was at least decentralized power structures, and people lived in harmony with one another. And something happened about 10,000 years ago, and it was a massive traumatic event on the planet, and the inhabitants of the planet, the whole species was traumatized by a cataclysmic event. And what came out of that was these imperial power structures, okay? It was, and it's not just like, you know, a political thing. This was a climate shift. It was, people couldn't grow food where they grew food for thousands of years. Everything changed, and now everything is changing again. You know, everything, this has all happened before, and all of this will happen again. But we have the great fortune of living in one of the critical moments in history when everything changes. And this is, you know, I personally have a memory of many things that have happened before my own lifetime, and, you know, I've been participating in this struggle for hundreds, if not thousands of years. And, you know, the empire is basically, it's a group of families, and they have kind of a psychopathic mindset. They think that it's their God-given right to determine the lives of everyone else. They can kill whoever they want. They can steal whatever they want. They believe that they have total license on this planet to do whatever they want. And those families have built a power structure around themselves. And we know that today as the elite, okay? It's all these lackeys, you know, these people who aren't even necessarily part of the ruling families, but, you know, they're just paid off, you know? It's like, you watch Game of Thrones, not everybody is a Lannister, you know, but they've got all their employees and their little sycophants just hanging on to them and getting paid to be a slave, one of their super slaves who just, you know, sells out their fellow human beings in order to get personal benefit for themselves. But what we have now is this backlash, okay? It's the people of Britain, the people of the United States, the people of Italy had said, no, we will not take this anymore. We will stand up and we will resist you. And that's what's happened. The big changes are yet to come, but now what we have is fundamental shift, that we are now in a new era. And what we will see going forward is not further centralization of power. It is a further decentralization of power, moving back in the direction of paradise, of living in a world where we can all share the bounty of the planet. Okay, we have infinite energy coming to us from the sun. We have our mother, the earth, who basically receives that energy, and out of that comes the synthesis, which is life. And life is the ultimate miracle on this planet. And really, we all just want to live happy lives, whatever the religion, whatever the race, whatever the color and creed, basically, we all just want to live happy lives, provide for ourselves, provide for our families, perform actions that give us fulfillment, and, basically just create something, leave the world a little bit better than we inherited it. And I'm very encouraged by the results today, and the results of Trump's election, and the result of Brexit. People who are locked into, the imperial program, they see all three of these as devastating events, but the fact is that people don't, there's nobody on this planet who has a right to tell other people how to live their lives. We all have sovereignty, and sometimes, we forget that, and we export it, we outsource it to other people, and we allow them to tell us how to live. And we have a whole culture now of people, basically a slave culture, of people who cheer on these centralized power structures and think that, oh, we can never take care of ourselves. The human race is evil and incompetent and degenerate. Thank God for these elites. Thank God for them just structuring our lives. And what would we do without the political class? What would we do without the bankers? What would we do without the politicians? We don't need them. We don't, okay? We have the technology and the wisdom and the information now to move forward into a new world that is decentralized. We have Bitcoin. When Bitcoin and precious metals, like gold and silver, are combined, we will have a new global currency that will basically allow us to work and live our lives without, the tyranny of the money system. How many of us are just working for money? We don't get to do the things we want to do because we're slaves to this financial system. They continually manipulate the value of the currency. They inflate the prices. All of us are running on this treadmill, and never really moving forward, or at least that's how it feels sometimes. I mean, that's how it feels to me a lot of the time. But we have really a beautiful moment in history, and I'm just really excited to see what comes out going forward. I will be participating in this personally every step of the way to create the world that we deserve, to build the structures that will allow us to enjoy our lives to a greater degree. And, I just want to reinforce that it comes down to decentralization of power is a good thing, and even if there's pain along the way, even if there's chaos and disorganization, we will have paradise on this planet again. It's been a long time, but we will have it, and it all comes down to we want it. We caused this. We are the creators of our reality, and that to some people that's already common knowledge. To some other people that sounds like some new age frou-frou, whatever. But we do create our reality. Every choice that we make, as we allocate our money, as we allocate our time, the things that we spend our words on, we spend our time on, we spend our actions on, they change the world. And, we can forget about that and live in an ignorant bubble, or we can take command of that and consciously start to have conversations, to, start projects, to start businesses, to start organizations among ourselves, to build these new resilient structures that will allow us to, move towards the next level of evolution, toward God consciousness. We have a beautiful, beautiful destiny on this planet, and it all comes down to this struggle of us, the people, against these psychopaths who have tried to control us. And, they've succeeded for centuries at keeping us ignorant, keeping us divided, It's all coming undone, and it's a beautiful thing. So today, the European Union collapsed. In 2017, the empire will die, or at least it'll fall more along that. And that's a great thing. It sounds negative, but the truth is the collapse of the old imperial tyrannical structures means the rebirth of our beautiful human culture, which is always the... Society is not a government. Society is people. Society is culture, and how we, with the bonds that we have with one another. And so just remember that, whatever may come down the pipeline, even if it sounds scary, we're always in control of our destiny. And, the Italians today, they said that resoundingly, that we are in control of our destiny and we will not be slaves to this cartel, this banking cartel, these elites, and there will be pain, there will be chaos, but there are ways to profit from that, first of all, and, ultimately what will come out of it is a much better human civilization that makes people more happy. So that's it. The European Union began its collapse today. Act 2 begins. We'll see what happens. 2017 is shaping up to be very exciting. So wholeness and balance vibrations to you all, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.